can you just give us your best, most accurate update on the likelihood that round one will go ahead and what happens if it doesn't?
Yeah, we've had a lot of meetings with the AFL. So at this stage, we are going ahead this week. They did say yesterday that if there's one case of the coronavirus amongst the players, they'll pull the pin there and then and delay the start to the season. But at this stage, if there's no positive, no positives, then we'll play this weekend.
Swanny, what are the logistics around it, mate? How do you get down there? How do you keep yourself isolated?
Yeah, well, they've done a fair bit of work with that. I think Virgin are going to effectively give us a charter plane. We'll have designated areas in the airport. I think they're even looking to get a bus onto the tarmac and get us straight off. We'll have a floor of a hotel just to ourselves, one floor to ourselves. So, yeah, they're taking some pretty, not extreme, but, pretty strong measures to try and keep us isolated and, get us in and out without too much interaction with the general public.
Swanny, what measures are being taken to protect the players through the week, like at the moment, training, etc.?
Yeah. Well, this is a first, isn't it, that we're actually doing a presser like this. So we're keeping everyone away. Pretty much the whole place is in lockdown. The majority of our staff now are working from home. Unless you're in the footy program, even our part-timers, everybody is pretty much locked out now. So it's pretty. We're isolated. The players they trained this morning. No problem from our end. At the moment, touch wood, we're really healthy from an injury point of view and certainly from a virus point of view. So all of our players trained this morning, and they'll come back into the club today. Do their gym and everything else. But pretty much the place is deserted, other than the players and the coaches.
Are you happy with the 17 round season?
Sorry, what was that?
Happy with the 17 round?
Oh yeah, look, I think it's practical. Yeah, I mean the good thing is we'd all play each other once, which is probably as fair as you can get in a draw. So I think it's interesting. Yesterday, a lot of every presser or anyone who said anything, the word that kept getting used was unprecedented. And I've been in this caper a long time, and that's an understatement. How we're all learning as we go here. But it is unprecedented, and the 17 games make sense because, I think even on our best days, we're not going to get through unscathed. I think, at some stage, someone will get tested positive and we'll close the comp down for a while, and then we might reconvene at a later stage. So going back to 17 rounds now just sort of takes that pressure off to not have to deliver 22 games. So we'll just see how that unfolds.
Swanny, how big a hit's going to be to only play 17 as opposed to 22 and have some games not in front of crowds, at least initially?
Yeah, no, look, we're all facing big financial challenges, no doubt about that. We're actually, everyone's doing the modelling now. It depends, which games you get and which games are in front of crowds and which games aren't. So, for example, I think the first 4 rounds are going to go as is, and one of those is Collingwood, which was going to be Easter Thursday. So that would have been a massive day for us. So we're looking. From a Gates perspective, it's probably going to cost us the best part of $5 million if we don't play in front of crowds. And then there's obviously, a whole lot of other corporate hospitality and things like that we would normally get that we won't at this stage while there's no crowd. So all the clubs are tightening their belts. We're all going through cost savings. The players as well have, I think, agreed to take a pay cut. Our staff have. We put staff on reduced hours because the business is pretty much grinding to a halt because we just can't deliver on those things that we normally do.
What will be the flow-on effect for next season if we do play up until Christmas? Will we have to have 17 games next season as well?
Yeah, not sure. They haven't gone that far ahead, but you know, I mean, I suppose the advantage we've got as a code is that we do. I mean, we've got problems in that most of our grounds are cricket grounds as well. So, you know, you got to be. It's hard to go, as you just said, through to Christmas because, you know, obviously we wouldn't be playing on the Gabba at Christmas, but we do own Marvel Stadium, so we can play there as much and as long as we like. So we'll see how all that pans out. But, you know, we might just have to play a lot more games over a shorter period of time. You know, we might be playing two or three times in a 2-week period. Well, certainly maybe three or four times in a 2-week period just to get the games in. And so I think if that's the case, then it'll be about who's got the best squad, because you're going to have, you know, it'll be almost a war of attrition. You'll have blokes coming in and out of the team, and you know, we're really comfortable in that space that we've got a good squad. But, you know, it's still a little bit early to tell where that's all going to end up.
Swanny, the NRL are looking, or competitions are looking at coming further north you go, the warmer the climate. Normally you go, yeah, let's stage games here at the Gabba, but would that cost? I mean, I don't know. You're talking about the finances. Would you like to see more games here in Queensland, or is that even attainable? Is that something you're looking at?
I think. Look, they haven't discussed that. Yeah, I did read that the NRL are talking about that. I mean, everybody. I think there's been a whole lot of stuff put on the table. Like, you know, until yesterday, like, for example, I think Darwin didn't have any cases. I think they had their first one yesterday. So, you know, do you go and play in Darwin? Do you play in the Alice? You know, what do you do? But I think in the end, this will spread everywhere, and you know, what's practical and how does it all work logistically? I think, you know, that's what the AFL's grappling with. But I think at the moment they're going to just go on as scheduled, at least for the first 4 rounds, and see what happens from there.
Swanny, I just want to ask, and Scott Pendlebury, I think, is in isolation, and there's a few Collingwood players that have been quarantined. Do you anticipate if any of those players are positive of this, the season could be cancelled?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it'll be cancelled. It might be delayed, I think. You know, because everyone's saying the peaks around May. You know, May, June, perhaps. Depending on how well we control it. I mean, it just, you know, it's still spreading, obviously, but you know, that each step. My understanding is most of the people that have tested positive have come from overseas, so obviously they've stopped. Well, they've sort of limited their involvement of people from overseas now. You know, they've got to have a 2-week isolation period. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not a medical expert, but I'm pretty sure we won't cancel the season. I just think they'll keep. You know, we'll delay it till later in the year, and as we said, it might end up running through the early part of summer next year. Oh, sorry, this year to get the season over. We'll get the 17 games over.
Swanny, with with the reduction in home games down to 8 or 9, what have you told your members? Have you been in contact with them about whether you know how it impacts them financially?
Yeah, look, the members, at the moment, we've just sent out a thing saying that, you know, it's really early days. We haven't worked out exactly what's going to happen yet. And we're still working through that. But yeah, we'll be in touch with them. It's interesting. Our members have been fantastic. The majority have already come back to us and said, you know, fine, you know, no problem. We're not rushing to get our money back. You know, the club needs it. It needs our support in this, you know, in this tough time. So our members have been outstanding with that. So we're under no pressure at the moment, you know, with people ringing or chasing refunds. So it's a credit to them, and, you know, we're really, really wrapped with, you know, with how that's panned out. Having said that, we will be in touch with them in the next little bit when we know a bit more about what's going to happen. It is a bit, you know, it's a bit tough at the minute because we're not really sure. You know, the game might. You know, we might delay the season till July, and then we might end up playing 5 or 6 games at the Gabba before we have to move and go and play in Melbourne, for example. You know, we don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff to work out, but when we know, we'll obviously be in touch. But as I said, they've been fantastic. Nobody's been chasing, and as I said, they've been really supportive of the club, which is just outstanding.
Sorry, go on.
Just on you just mentioned possibly $5 million hit in no gate takings. Are you going back to Stadiums Queensland to to try and renegotiate deals and what it might mean for hiring costs and stuff like that?
Yeah, look, we are. There was a meeting this morning with all the codes with Stadium Queensland, so it's actually on roughly the same time as this. So my head of our government relations has gone there. So yeah, and so far the indications are really strong that Stadiums Queensland will support all the codes. So that's really encouraging. And I think everybody's looking, to do the right thing, and we're all going to take a haircut of some description. So, it's just really trying to work our way through that. But, they've been really supportive so far. And the practicalities are, if we don't play here in front of crowds, the upside is, we do save a lot of money from, security, police costs, the ticket levies, all that sort of stuff that we normally pay. But it doesn't outweigh what we would get from normal gate receipts. But there is some cost savings, and rental's one of those that we're talking to Stadiums Queensland about.
Swanny, just a bigger picture one. Have you thought at all about the draft and what kind of effect not having the underage footy might have on that this year?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's we ourselves and all the competitions, we've effectively put our academy on hold. We don't have any academy players coming in now for the foreseeable future. So you're right. There's a whole group of kids that are preparing for their draft year. So at this stage, they won't be playing, probably until the middle of the year, and that might make it difficult. But and hopefully we can get back in the middle of the year. I mean, we don't. I keep saying that, but I'm not 100% sure that that's even going to happen. But at this stage, we've delayed, and all the junior comps, all the second tier competitions, the NEFL, things like that, they're on delay, and there'll be a review, I think, in May or June. And the same as the under 18. So yeah, it is going to be difficult in a draft year for our recruiters to actually even get to look at some of these guys for very long. So that's going to be a bit of a challenge.
Swanny, you sort of talked about you're still modelling financial impacts and stuff like that. Are you able to quantify at all what sort of losses we're looking at here for a club?
Well, you've got some idea, but I think it's going to depend on whether we can get some games away in the back end of the year. So if we can, then obviously, for example, if we were to play in July or August, you would think that, when we come back, that the place will be packed because people will be, starved of footy, they'll want to come and watch. So, if we have 3 or 4 home games, we might fill those out, fill the stadium, and that'll help us obviously financially. And then you've got the other scenario where we don't play at all for the rest of the year, and that's a massive hit to not only us but the whole competition. So there's a whole lot of different outcomes there. So we just have to wait and see where it goes.
Well, we just went on the players. Are they under any instructions or any guidance of what to do once they're away from the club?
Yeah, they have. They've been told. About the, effectively for them to be keeping within, their own groups and that, and not be going to pubs and nightclubs and things like that, and interacting with the public, like you normally do, shaking hands, all those little things. So, hygiene, washing their hands, all those things have been spoken to them about, and just to be careful and see if they can stay healthy. But it's easier said than done, but they're so far so good. I think they've made some adjustments. They had a 4-day break on the weekend, and most of them either just went on a local holiday up to the Sunshine Coast, or stayed around in Brisbane and sort of didn't get out much. So yeah, they're looking forward to playing if they can, but they're taking precautions away from the footy club.